Hey everybody, how's it going? Today we're going to get started fixing a MacBook. I'm excited. We're going to fix a MacBook. My apologies if I'm not my normal happy self throughout this video. On top of all the other aggravating, stressful things in life, I'm getting audited by New York State. Yay! Yay, yay, yay. I am very lucky and happy that I have had the services of a professional CPA for as long as I've had this business, who has assisted me in all of my financial reporting, all of my taxes and all that type of stuff, so that, but still, there's no world in which this doesn't suck. Like when you get a list of every single document, every expense, every receipt, every this, that, and the other, and it's all like, there's no world in which going through this is not going to suck. Massively, massively suck. And again, so if I am not my normal happy self while doing this video, I apologize. I'm just not in a good mood. Like I honestly wasn't in a good mood for a while, but yeah, I'm definitely not in a good mood right now. So today we have an A1502. It says logic board issues, and they say it's not powering on. We are going to take a look at this board and see what's going on. Hello to Mr. Paul Daniels. Travis, how are you? See some familiar names in here. Hello, Nasara. Hope you're doing well today. Hello, Ed Boss, and many others. Are there any others I recognize in here? It's been a while since I've seen you around, Chill Dude Man Guy. Also, very happy to see Paul Daniels here. Ooh, Tim Herman is in the chat. Beautiful. So this here is a MacBook. This is an A1502. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to plug it in and see what's going on with it. I'm going to have the multimeter on the screen as well as the power supply software on the screen so that you can get a little bit of an idea of exactly what is going on. For some reason, the power supply is not showing up on the screen, which is particularly strange. I don't know why. That's not showing up on the screen when it's supposed to be showing up on the screen. Let's see, does it show up in this window? No, it doesn't. Oh my, it doesn't show up in any window. Today is not my day, now is it? Let's see. What if I... No. Where are you? Hello, little power supply software. Where are you? Oh, come on. Oh, this is just weird. Very strange, aha, there you are, you little mofo. I see you. I see you. All right, 1 second. I'm going to have to reset my transform here and set this back up so that it is usable. Give me 1 moment, and I'm going to get the power supply on the screen where it's supposed to be. So this is what happens when you use the Paul Daniels software. Can't trust Paul Daniels software. Granted, this software may not actually be made by Paul Daniels, but that's not my point. That's not my point. You can actually still blame him. It really doesn't actually matter. All right, now as you heard over there, this machine is turning on. It is turning on. So we did have a chime, so that is working to some extent. So the question then becomes, okay, why is it here if it's already turning on? If it's already turning on, then I probably should not see it here. But it's here at my store in my desk. So I'm going to take a wild guess at the issue with this machine is no image, and just excuse me for a moment while I copy this power supply transform to all of the other documents that I usually use here. I don't know why the power supply transform goes crazy in OBS. All right, so let's see if we get a picture on our screen. We're going to just turn this up on the desk, unfold it. As you can see, we have no picture on the screen. So what we're going to do at this point is try and troubleshoot why there's no image on the screen. So let's check this out. So I'm going to open up a schematic and a board view for this board. I'm going to turn it off for the time being. No need to keep it on right now. While this is an 820-4924 board. So let's find a board view and a schematic for the 820-4924 2015 A1502 MacBook Pro. And we're going to take a look at the screen image circuit. That's going to be on this connector, J8300. Here we go. Check it out, check it out, check it out. Okay, so now we have display port lines. So the machine is going to communicate with two things. A, it communicates with the backlight chip on an I2C data line, I2C for those who like to be triggered by my mispronunciation. And it also communicates with the CPU, which is where the integrated GPU is, on this data line right here. It goes through a capacitor and an inductor, which act as a filter prior to going to the screen. So the machine is going to speak to the screen a little bit And once it speaks to the screen and recognizes that there's a screen there, you will get EDP panel power will get sent out, usually by the GPU or that's integrated into the CPU, and then it will send 5 volts over to the machine. So let's just take a look at this schematic only for just a moment. So this is where 5 volts power is going to go to the screen, to power the screen image circuit, to power the part that actually makes an image. Then over here, you're going to have backlight. This is what powers the backlight of the screen so that you can actually see it. So the first thing I want to do is see if it's actually getting the 5 volts that it's supposed to get to power the screen on so that the screen works. So let's see. So the way this works, why do people waste money sending super chats? I don't know, especially when it's probably just going to go to an auditor anyway. Although, good question. I don't know, but thank you very much, James OldDGs. Okay, so this chip over here is going to take 5 volts, and it's going to send 5 volts over to the screen if it's being told to turn on. And on, over here, is going to come from EDP panel power PSR enable. Mr. Chris Long is here. We have repair royalty in the chat today. Everybody say hi to BNC Connection in the chat. If you're in the Midwest and you need a MacBook repair, I'd highly suggest checking him out. He's a very capable dude. BNC Connection, run by Chris Long. So this is going to send 5 volts over to the screen, but if it gets EDP panel power. So let's see if I'm actually getting that over here. So I'm going to get this on L8300. I'm going to go back to the schematic in the board view so you could see that over here. And we're just going to take a look. Now, according to the schematic and board view, I'm supposed to be getting that 5 volts right over here. So we're just going to put this camera back on, and we're going to measure, see what I get. Again, now there's 3 possibilities. You get 5 volts, which means that maybe there's just no backlight on the screen. If you get 5 volts at here, this means maybe the issue is a backlight issue, not a no image issue. We get 0 volts, meaning for some reason it's not recognizing the screen. Maybe the screen has went bad, or the wrong screen is installed, or there's a board issue, or we're getting something partial. We're getting 3.2 volts. What does that mean? Why are we getting 3.2? Why are we getting just 3.2 volts? That's weird. There's a number of different possibilities here. It could be getting pulled down by a bad screen. The inductor itself can be bad, so it has 5 volts on one side and 3.2 on the other. Or there's something wrong with this circuit that's creating that 5 volts and sending it through, where it may have a partial short to ground on it. So let's just see what we get on both sides of the inductor. Now on top of the inductor, we get 3.2. On bottom, we get 3.2. So the inductor is not to blame here because it's 3.2 on both sides. It's not 5 on one side and 3.2 on another. It's not the inductor's fault. The next thing I'm going to do over here is I'm going to see if there's a short to ground on this line of itself. I'm going to unplug power to do that. We buy super chats because we like hearing Lewis's rant about Apple's faulty high dollar sponges. Thank you. Okay, so it looks like, thank you very much, Chrono Tango. I never thought of this machine as a sponge, but that's what the customers use it as. So as you can see here, we have 9.5 ohms. Now, that means there's a short to ground somewhere. But where is this short to ground? That's a great question. Well, one way I would try to determine where the short to ground is let's unplug the screen. So let's see, is the short that I have, let's just take a look at the schematic really quickly again. Do I have the short on this side, where it's going to the screen, or do I have the short on this side over here where that 5 volts is being sent to the screen? I want to know what's at fault here. So I just unplugged the screen entirely, and we're going to see where my short is. As you can see, I still have a 9.5 ohm short. So it's possible that the short is on the board. It's possible that the short is inside the connector. The only way to confirm whether or not the short is on something on the board or around here in the image creation circuit or in the connector would be if I remove that inductor and then measure what's going on both sides. And that's actually something I have the luxury of doing because I have these beautiful soldering tweezers over here. But also, one thing I'm really curious about, if there's a short, I'm kind of curious if anything's getting warm over there, but we'll find out soon. Now, one thing you may notice if you are really, really detail-oriented before I take the SSD out is that this has been opened and messed with before. There is a Phillips screw holding the SSD in that is not the proper size. It is not the proper screw for that particular hole. Someone has put the wrong screw in the wrong hole, and we do not tolerate that here at Rossmann Repair Group. So this is the wrong screw Wrong hole. It's not something that you should expect here. So what we're going to do is we're going to put that aside. We're going to put the SSD aside because I don't want to mess around with the SSD while I'm in this area. So I'm actually going to remove this inductor using my hot tweezers. And then we're going to see if the short is inside the connector or somewhere else on the board. So I really want to try and track down where this short is located. So I'm going to turn on my hot tweezers here. Beautiful. We're going to turn on my fume extractor here, which is going to allow me to not inhale this nasty, nasty shit. Everybody who is doing this, who has employees or is around other people, I'd highly suggest that you get a fume extractor because it is not fair, in my opinion, to subject other people to the fumes of a soldering station. Let me just set the temperature on this. Okay. The battery was always disconnected, Paul Daniels. The battery was sitting like this. It was sitting like this, not plugged into the board. Do you really think that I was doing my amperage measurement of how many amps this motherboard was using with the battery plugged in after all these years? No trust. In spite of all the trust that we've put in your software. So, I am going... Also, I'm not using the microscope. Admittedly, me using the microscope is really showmanship at this point. I don't use it for a lot of the stuff that I do. I don't really need it. It's just something so that you can see everything that I'm doing. And at this point, for some reason today, I'm just too aggravated, stressed, depressed to care about the showmanship section of doing board repair. So we're going to put that inductor on the desk right now. And what I'd like to do is measure on each side. And we're going to see on each side of that inductor where our short is located. So I'm going to put the... Let's see. We are going to put the multimeter back on the screen. And let's measure on both sides of this inductor. On the bottom, it's open line. On the top, it's 9.5 ohms. So now I'm going to go back to my schematic and board view and figure out what the top and the bottom actually mean. So it looks like pin 2 is the screen side, pin 1 is the motherboard side. So pin 2 is where this inductor is leading to the connector. And our short is on pin 1, which was on the top, which means that our short is not inside the connector. Our short is going to be somewhere on the board in this area. So I'm going to take a guess that our short, again, if it's not over here on any of, it's not in front, proceeds to scrape all my dishes clean with an iPhone 13, that's a waste of a little iPhone 13. That's not very nice. That's not very nice. So what we're going to do is we're going to check and see where could this be shorted to ground on pin 1 and before. So it can't be this. Even though this is a valid path to ground, here, 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 and here, and the connector has a path to ground, anything after pin 2 is not it, because we have an open line there. Once I remove the inductor, it's over here. So C8301 could be shorted to ground, C8312, C8311, or U8300. Any one of these things. So U8300, C8311, C8312, or these two caps. How are you? Shameless plug. If anybody watching this has experience with native Win32 API reverse engineering, please let me know. I'm royally frustrated and stuck. Tag me at really long email that's probably going to be off of the screen before anybody gets to the end of the comment. Thank you very much for the $1 Beard of Joy. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm the dude to help you with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this under the microscope. I'm going to put that inductor back on the board, and we're going to do a good old-fashioned OWI test to try and figure out where this short is located. The OWI test is one of the most reliable, one of the oldest tests here we have at Rossmann Repair Group to try and figure out where a short is on a board. Now, since this short is going to be a short that really kind of depends on me having the screen plugged in, I am going to plug the screen in, because remember, that chip is not going to send 5 volts over. It's not going to bother trying to send 5 volts over if there's nothing there. But wait a second. If the chip itself is what's shorted... See, here's the thing. If it's this chip that's shorted, it's going to get hot either way, because PP5ESO is always present as long as the computer's on. It's going to get hot. If it's one of these caps that's shorted, then it won't get hot if I don't plug the screen in, because this chip won't be turning on and sending 5 volts through to give this an opportunity to get hot. So let's... You know what? I'm still going to put... I have to put the damn inductor back on anyway, so I might as well just put the inductor back on and then plug it in, and then I will do my owie test. I'll probably use alcohol instead of doing an owie test because again, I'm not in the mood for owie today, but let's check it out. So I'm going to grab my tweezers, put my inductor in that area, grab my hot tweezers. Make sure it's flat on the board. I did not have the microscope on for that. I'm sorry. You missed out on some quality content there. I apologize. Today's not my day. 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 All right, so we're going to plug in the screen, turn it on, and I am going to use a Q-tip to apply some anti-static alcohol to the board, which is going to get really hot once it's going to start bubbling once whatever's getting hot or whatever's shorted gets hot. I'm going to plug the machine in, and as you can see, it is on. Whoa. Okay, it should be fairly obvious at this point what my issue is. Yeah, it's U8300. It's definitely U8300, which you can see right here. That is ow. So we need to get that out of here. So I'm going to take the board out of the case. I haven't actually taken the board out of the casing yet, and that is important. We should take the board out of the case because I'm going to use hot air to remove that chip, and I don't want to burn the keyboard backlight or any element of the screen that's nearby here. You can sometimes get away with it outside of the case. I personally don't believe in my own ability to do that without burning something around it, and anytime I have doubt in that something that I'm doing is going to go as well as I think, I take the more conservative route. So I'm going to take the board out of the case and use hot air to remove the board. I don't think so. I also got to get myself some food. I'm kind of hungry. I'm going to order something in a few. Maybe pick up something from the deli. Well, I got an email back from my accountant about my audit. What did he say? He sent him all the paperwork. He asked me for all the paperwork earlier. I'm sure he's happy. Okay, I actually need to do something right now that's actually quite important. So, sign and your name, title, president. Okay, I actually do need to do something right now. So I'm going to just mute this stream and I will be back to it later. I apologize, but this is important. All right, gotta sign this. Signing. Okay. Save this. Pieces. Epson scan. I have a feeling this is what my life is going to be like for the next few weeks. Scanning things that I get asked for. Just kind of a... What a waste. What a waste. Come on, finish scanning. I did eat Taco Bell in Acera. It was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. It was literally the only thing that I could eat. It was either that or starve to death, or eat the grass. So I made a very fast decision. I made an executive decision that I genuinely regret, but it was an important decision to make at the time. Okay, let's see. Is this what I need it to be, or did the scanner print do it upside down? You did it upside down, you piece of shit. That's what I get for buying the all-in-one cheap shit. Okay, rotate 180. Are you serious? You're missing the top of the paper. Get the you fucking piece of shit. Okay, move it over a little. Try this again. Preview. How is previewing a scan take 30 seconds with a scanner that I bought in 2020? Like, that blows my fucking mind. It baffles me. Okay, scan. Oh, and save. Oh, this is going to be fun. This is going to be so much fun. Why? But who buys scanners nowadays? People who need to scan things because their state doesn't allow digital signatures. Okay. Attached in. Okay. Okay, back to this. So let me hit start. Alright, so we're back. I just had to stop to scan some documents and send them over to my CPA. I have a feeling that the next 2 to 4 months of my life is going to be filled with a lot of that. Oh, you were in the middle of fixing something? We need this document from 2.5 years ago. Oh, you need this? Oh, yeah, this is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. This is going to be beautiful. Okay, so back to this, back to what I was doing. We're going to take the board out of this MacBook, and when the board is out of this MacBook, we are going to replace U8300, which I imagine is my issue. It's also missing hinge screws. I don't know if you could see that. It's missing hinge screws. This is not cool. I think somebody tried to replace their screen and then they shorted something and it blew up that chip. Okay. I don't care about ghost producers and writers. For the person who asked. I have no opinion one way or the other. Thirsty. Also admittedly hungry. Okay, where were we? U8300. Could use a replacement. Travel channel. Indeed, this will be becoming a travel channel. I want to check out the area around Nashville, Tennessee. I want to check out some other areas of Florida. It really depends on how this goes. If this goes the way everything else I've dealt with in New York has gone, then I can't. Like, it's... I can't deal with it anymore. You have something that looks like a solder blob over there. Man, that solder looks really unhealthy under that chip. I'm not used to seeing solder that looks that bad. Yes and no, Animaxter. It really depends on how much you want to torture yourself. Some people do even the cell phone ones without a microscope. I think they're crazy. Florida's hot garbage. It's so dysfunctional. What makes Florida dysfunctional besides, well, I guess all the things that you see in the news? What are the things that make it dysfunctional to you? I'm fine with that connector. I do data recovery, not phone repair in Necromancer, for the most part. Thank you very much, Cosburn. I really appreciate that. And I want people to understand that, you know, that I'm probably not as smart as they think I am, and if they think I'm smart, they probably don't know enough of what I've done. I don't want other people to think that when they screw up that it's unforgivable. I think that's mostly Miami with the cocaine, Dr. Depp. Now we're going to see if this gives us an image on the screen. I hope it does. If it gives us an image on the screen, we'll have to find some spare screws to give this person, because they're missing a lot of the screws that they should have in their computer. And we'd also test everything else in the machine to make sure everything else works. Because very often in cases like this, there'll be something else that's not working that may have been the reason they opened it. So they sent it to us because they have, you know, they opened it because they had problem A. In opening it, they caused problem B, C, and D, and even if we solve problem B, C, and D, we may have not solved problem A, which we don't even know what it is, but we'll probably figure out once it becomes time to do testing. So I'm going to move these items out of the machine temporarily, and I just want to see if I get to a question mark folder. That's what I'm looking for. I want to see a question mark folder show up and appear on the screen. So we're going to open this a little bit, and I also want to see that I'm getting nice try, motherboard, nice try. I grabbed you, mofo. I got you. You're not going anywhere. I know you don't want to be in a MacBook. You'd like to be in any other computer, but you can't. You're going into a MacBook. You don't get to run away. Please don't post in the chat nothing but punctuation, because I can't answer punctuation. If you post a period or an exclamation point or a question mark, I don't know what the fuck to do with that. Okay. Okay, so I'm expecting to get 5 volts on the screen. And let's see if that's what we have. Okay. 5 volts. So we're probably going to have a question mark folder coming up in a moment. The screen looks really, really bad. It doesn't look like it's been taken care of very well, but this happens to a lot of these computers. So let's see if we have a question mark. I would expect the question mark to show up in a moment. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Question mark. Oh, come on. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh. Where's my question mark? Come on. Okay, let's see. What am I getting on backlight? Is backlight working? Okay, maybe it is. Let's see. What does the meter say? 48 volts. So backlight is working. So backlight is working. Wait a second. So if backlight is working and we have 5 volts, then where is my question mark? Maybe the screen is bad and the screen is what killed you 8300. Okay, I see what's going on here. Maybe the screen is bad and the screen killed you 8300. It's possible. It's possible. I'm open to that line of reasoning. Okay. So let's try this with a spare screen. That would really suck for this customer, because these screens are insanely expensive. It would also suck for me, because then I would not be able to collect any money for fixing this, because nobody's going to want to pay for a 6-year-old computer that needs a screen and a motherboard repair, especially since these screens are no longer available at anything even remotely close to normal pricing. So I have a test screen on the desk. I put a test screen on the desk. I'm going to plug this test screen in, and we're going to boot it up and see if we get a question mark folder. Okay. 5 volts. 5 volts going to the screen for image. Beautiful. Backlight is... Wait a second. No backlight. What? Are you... This is not a 2015 screen, is it? This is a 2013-14 that's mislabeled. Oh, that's mean. That's mean. Who would do that here? That's cruel. No way. Okay. Yeah, you have to use the right ear screen on this so you get no backlight. Somebody's evil. Evil. Who would do that? This is 2013-14 and it says 15 on it. Who would do such a thing?
An L, obviously. What? Huh?
An L?
I didn't even... point finger.
I can't wait to buy a Ford F650. Okay, so let's see. Show you what a truck is. Okay. The one that is in his computer gives it 5 volts and also 48 volts for backlight, but no image. This one, 5 volts for the image line, but 0 volts for backlight. I don't know if it's... I didn't check. I just saw 0 volts and I raged in thinking that it's a 2013-14, even though it says 15. You have a working test screen? U8300 was shorted, so I replaced it. And I'm wondering if the screen killed U8300, if U8300 killed the screen. But U8300, you wouldn't kill a screen by sending it less voltage than it's supposed to.
Unless it did spike at some point.
And PP5 ESO. So it can't. It's not even like it's turning 12 and a 5. I could see the screen being bad and the screen being bad, shorting it and then killing the U8300. Thank you. I'll bring it right back. I'm giving myself a timer. 90 seconds. I have to bring back Paul's screen. No keeping Paul's screen. This does not belong to me. If this screen works, I'm going to kick an L in the dick. If this screen doesn't work, I'm going to kick myself in the dick. Okay, let's see. This is a really nice looking test screen as well. I'm never gonna dance again, 'cause guilty feet have got no rhythm. Okay. Wait, turn on. What? There we go. Turn on, you piece of... 3, 2, 1, dong. That's where it would have donged if I had a speaker plugged in. So we have 5 volts on image, 40 volts on backlight, meaning that an L is going to get kicked in the dick. An L! Let's see if we get a question mark folder. It's probably best if I not put this on camera. Okay. In 20 seconds, we should get a question mark folder. 20 seconds to question mark. Yeah. Hi, Anel. Come over here. Okay, so this machine had a short to ground on U8300. That was causing the voltage going to the screen to be 3 volts instead of 5 volts. Now, on older model MacBooks that did not use DisplayPort, on let's say the A1278 or A1286, when you have that type of short, what will usually happen is you'll get a white screen with no image, but it'll look like the standard white or gray background that you get when the display is booting up into the OS. It won't be actually white, it'll be gray, and it may confuse people as to what's wrong. They'll think it's a screen when it's actually a board issue. But when you have machines that use DisplayPort, if they're not getting the full amount that they're supposed to be getting, then you'll just get nothing. Also, on newer machines, as opposed to older ones like the A1278, on A1502s, A1398s, these typically boot up now with a black background, not a gray background. So it's a bit different there. But this machine was getting 3 volts of the screen instead of 5. Once we removed the inductor, we were able to isolate the short to being before the inductor, not after it. From one IT company to another, keep the fight repair. Texas is rooting for you. Thank you very much for the $50. I highly appreciate it. Wow, that's way too much for me. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And yeah, maybe I'll visit Texas over the next week or two. And this is... So we were able to figure out that the short was before the inductor. So when we plug the screen back in, put the inductor back on, we checked before the inductor. I was looking at the caps or U8300. It was U8300 that was shorted. We replaced it, and now it works. Also, another thing to make sure that you understand is that the 2013 and 14 A1502s and A1398s use a different screen than the 2015 and 16 A1502s and A1398s. And it's enough of a confusing issue that we've actually listed on repair.wiki as one of the very common causes of no backlight. This will not work. If you put a 2013 or 14 screen into a 1516 machine, even though they have the same specifications as a screen in terms of resolution, color, gamut, everything else, even though it uses the same connector, it will not work because Apple, they changed the certain things in the pinout, so it's not going to function the way that it did before. You'll get an image with no backlight. And what people will often do to save money is they'll try to buy the older screen model to put in their newer machine, thinking, and then they'll wonder why it doesn't work. The reason it doesn't work is because you used the wrong screen. That's it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something. Thank you so much for watching. And if you have any interest in doing this type of stuff, there's going to be an advertisement that precedes this video that will explain precisely how it is you can learn more, whether you want to pay or whether you're broke and have no money and wish to learn how to do what it is I do here. I'm going to let past me be an ad. And cut. All right. That's it. And where's Anel? Hey, Anel, how's it going? Oh, Anel's about to get a nice swift kick in the dick. Where's Anel?
Nose in the front. Oh, yeah, but that's not bad. No.
Which one of these was your screen?
Elephant.
Did you transfer the sticker from the old elephant to the new one? Because I remember the elephant as being the tester for like 3 years now.
Nope, same one.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, it works. It's this no backlight.
This has we've changed the cable on this.
Does this look
thing has
unhealthy?
lasted all that time. Maybe it's the cable.
5 volts, but no backlight.
It's possible it needs a cable.
This is not a good tester. This is probably going to confuse somebody.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Where do I put this?
Stack there. Right here.
Oh, what is all this crap?
Unknown test parts.
Okay.
Yes.
So, send away. I love that. I was just walking by there. One of my employees decided, instead of taking money from somebody who's being a pain in the ass, to send it back. I like that. Don't go for the easy money. They'll always come back and bite you in the ass later. Okay. I am going to get something to eat because I'm a bit hungry. I'm actually quite hungry. I should have got something to eat earlier. I'm going to get something to eat, and maybe I'll be back soon. See y'all later. Thank you for watching. Thank you so much for watching, and